early in the morning.
Keep doing this.
Yeah, exactly. You found yourself on another episode of Locked On Bulls. On today's episode, we'll talk about Chet Holmgren's injury and what that could mean for NBA players playing in pro-ams and Drew Leagues and things like that. Next, we'll get into the interview with Ayo DOsunmu and Waddle Silvy, which was pretty insightful for the young player coming into his second year. And then lastly, we'll talk about the Bulls preseason opener against the Pelicans that will be aired live on TNT. All that and more on today's Locked On Bulls.
You are Locked On Bulls, your daily podcast on the Chicago Bulls, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for making Locked On Bulls your first listen every day. Locked On Bulls, member of the Locked On Podcast Network. That is Pat, the designer, host and creator of the Windy City Breeze. I'm Haize, host and creator of Chicago Bulls and Chicago Bears Central. And today's episode is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline has you covered this season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before. BetOnline is where the game starts. All right, Pat. Chet Holmgren, second overall pick, got a Lisfranc injury in his foot, which is going to keep him out all the 2022-23 season.
What did you call it?
Lisfranc, right? Isn't that what it's called?
Is that what it is?
Yeah, Lisfranc injury. Yeah. Yeah, look,
Hey,
I
listen,
do my research,
I'm not smart
brother.
enough to argue with you. It just sounded funny to me.
Lisfranc injury. Like, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but that's how it's spelled.
I've actually heard Muggs call that like a Liz Frank injury, and I feel like that's horribly wrong. So go ahead.
Yeah, nonetheless. And so while it does suck that the young player, rookie, I don't think he had a chance to be rookie of the year, but nonetheless, he gets injured in a crossover event, and it's basically a pro-am. It's going to keep him out all of his 23 season. Before we get into what implications that could have possibly for the NBA as the next CBA comes up, what do you think about the injury, bro?
I mean, it sucks, right? Like, listen, no matter what you thought about Chet, no matter what side you stand on that he's going to be good, he's going to be bad, bold predictions, all that stuff, right? At the end of the day, this is this guy's career. This is what he does to make a living. And he's not going to be able to go out there and play the game that he loves his rookie season. I hope he has a quick recovery. I don't know, right? Like, after watching the video, I know a lot of people were doing the whole like, oh, we knew he was going to get hurt. It's the sleight of frame thing. He shouldn't have been in front of LeBron. I was like, nah, bro. Like, I don't know what happened to him. Like, LeBron kind of bumped into him, and maybe that did cause an effect because LeBron kind of bumping into you could be like a truck hitting you. But I didn't see him do anything crazy. I think the bigger concern is kind of like, is he going to end up in that Yao Ming, Shaq kind of path where when the big men's feet go, that's when they start having concerns? But he's, what, 20? 21? I'm not worried about that at 21, right? Like, his body will bounce back. He'll be fine. We'll see him in the league next year. I think he's more like going to end up being like a Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, Blake Griffin, guys like that who had that injury their rookie year and then bounced back just fine, had a normal career after that.
Yeah, I mean, so he will need surgery. It is he's going to be in the cast for 6 to 12 weeks. The thing that's concerning is that even just looking up the injury, it says it can take a year or more to just return to intense exercise, like running or playing sports. Yeah. So he's definitely going to miss all of his rookie year. Like you said, hopefully it's not something that carries on. And like you said, because big men and feet and ankles, like once those things start going, bro, it's a pretty difficult career. But
is he? What'd you say the other day? Is he a big man?
He's not a big man. That's the thing. Like, yeah, because we originally recorded this segment before, but he called him a big man. And I'm like, he's a tall man. He's not a big man. He's tall
got some
man.
height too.
Yeah, he got some height too. But what do you and so it's interesting because like I listened to Jalen and Jacoby, and Jalen Rose talked about how at one point in his NBA career, there actually were provisions in NBA contracts where if you did get hurt in something like a pro-am and stuff like that to dissuade players from doing it, that there were provisions that the team could void out the contract. Now, I don't know if that's still a thing or not. We talked a little bit about it before. Like, do you think with the next CBA coming up, with the player empowerment movement, with also the amount that's going into contracts, people are now signing regularly $150, $200 million contracts. Yeah. Do you think there's any type of, I don't want to say necessarily language that would keep players from being able to play in pro-ams and Drew Leagues, but do you think there's something that maybe is some type of protections or stipulations or restrictions in there.
I mean, we've seen it before, right? Like they absolutely used to have it. Remember, Jordan had the I forget the name of the clause that was in his contract
But
where
it was that he could play basketball.
That he could play. You know what I'm saying? Like, but he had to negotiate that into his contract because it was the whole point was we don't want you getting hurt. You're our main star asset. We don't want you getting hurt not playing for us. So I think that could be a thing that comes back into play. I don't know if it will be, right? Because for me, when you're talking about these pro-am events, when you're talking about all this stuff, right, it's better to have these guys moving than sitting around in the offseason. They're going to be playing 5-on-5s anyway. Like Hoodie Melo's dropping a video every single year and playing
Has he dropped one this summer yet?
Yeah, he just dropped it a day and a half ago. Like, legitimately drops one every single year. I don't know if cooking mugs, but I mean, honestly, these guys are going to play basketball. It's what they do. It's what they love. The idea or the thought process that they're only playing basketball through the NBA season is asinine to me. It's like, bro, like what you thought? They just stopped loving the game for 4 months of the year? Like they just never hoop
just
at all.
Because it's not televised and like you have more access. Like players have been playing in Drew leagues for years. It's a lot more televised now. There's a lot more cameras there now. But you're right. Hoodie Melo just posted a video 3 days ago and then posted another one day ago. That's
know what
crazy,
I'm saying?
bro. He needs a separate account just for Hoodie Melo. Like,
that would be fire. I will watch all those clips. Even though it does crack me up, right? Because Muzz be losing their mind. They'd be like, he's cooking out here. And I was like, I would hope so. He's Carmelo Anthony. Like, he's going up against D2 and D1 players.
He's playing against people with 9-to-5 jobs.
I don't know if it's that bad. I don't know if you get the mellow. I will say this, though. There was definitely one where he just pulled up to an export. Like, you could tell. I was like watching the dudes. I was like, this dude's not in shape. He's a bricklayer. Like, he's going to Dunkin' Donuts on his coffee break, bro. Come on now. Like, God, come on, Melo. You can't be out here cooking this guy, man.
Hey, listen, do you remember when the summer after after Nate Robinson left us and signed with the Denver Nuggets, he had that challenge or whatever. This was before like challenges online, but he would literally just go to places dribbling and saying, if you can stop me from crossing you up. I think he was giving it was like $500 or something like that. And nobody, like random people, he was crossing people up at an airport, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, so. Bro, that's the difference in level between competition. Yeah, I mean, but right, like Melo just pulling up to an export or Nate Robinson just doing random stuff. These guys love the game of basketball. They're going to play the game of basketball. So for me, I do think it'll be a talking point at the CBA. I don't think it'll be anything major, because at the end of the day, right, like I don't think these teams are upset that their guys are still moving and playing. I would be more upset if I had a guy that's like, hey, bro, what you been doing for 3 months? You just chilling? You just working on dribbling drills? That's it? That's all you doing?
Working out, like doing the Yi Jialin where I'm just working against a chair all summer.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Do you remember when Doc Rivers came under fire? Because he literally was like, well, anybody can look good against a chair. And people were like, come on, Doc.
Hey, he wasn't wrong. The chair don't play defense. And he was getting stripped up.
By a chair?
The chair had a 6'9" wingspan. AK is looking at it right now.
Dan, was that the chair that old girl sat on in Basic Instinct? A 6'9" wingspan for a chair?
To move on.
All right, we're going to go ahead. All right.
Relax there,
now,
bro.
with that being said, bro, as we get ready to wrap up the segment, there's been a lot of Bulls players. We've gotten everything from Patrick Williams, Dalen Terry, DeMar DeRozan, Javonte Green showed up at the Denard Bros. Like, are you concerned at all about the amount of pro-am games? Do you think, like, after this, maybe we start seeing players just for the nature of the conversation, they just kind of fall off of it a little bit?
I'm going to say no. Well, you know what? I'll say yes, right? But just because we're getting close to the season. I don't think it's because of Chet's injury. I think now it's because I think it's going to be now like, okay, now it's time for me to start focusing on the season is coming up. Now it's time for me to start getting myself ready for the season that's coming up. You know what I'm saying? I think we're going to see more of that, and we've seen kind of a little bit more of that. You see Zach LaVine going through drills and stuff with his trainers. That video dropped yesterday, and just these guys are preparing for in-game situations in the NBA where, you know, in these Drew leagues, like, they could cook all these dudes. Like they feel well. Some of them can. I'm not gonna lie to you. Some of the mugs can cook all these dudes. Some of these dudes out here looking like, hey man, like he might be able to take your contract. Like they're not posting all the Drew League numbers or all the Pro-Am numbers out here, bro. I've seen some dudes out here that I'll be like, oh yeah, you are in the NBA.
All right, next summer, Locked On Bulls, Haize Pat, we pulling up to Denard Bros.
I'm with it.
Let's pull up to.
I'm with it. We got to find our way up in that mud.
Oh, don't worry. I told you, I got connections.
Oh, you got the connect on that.
I got the.
We should have pulled up this year then,
bro. There's so much going on this summer, fam. Come on, man. Yeah.
I'm moving.
This what we doing? We taking shots. We taking shots at leveling up. Okay, I see what we doing here, brother. Before we get into the next segment, we're talking about Ayo DOsunmu's interview on Waddle and Silvy. Got to talk to you guys about BetOnline. BetOnline.net is the fastest and easiest way to check in on all your betting needs. Find all your favorite sports and events at the #1 online source for odds, lines, and games. Find reviews and news of every league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all your sports wagering information, from live in-game betting, scores, and podcasts. They got you covered. Head to BetOnline today or use your mobile device to learn more about the action happening today. BetOnline, it's where the game starts. Hey, bro, I'm not even going to lie to you. When we're live, I am terrified to mess up a live read. Like, literally, when we're pre-recording, it's like, I'm fine. The ability to edit. But, like, it's
hey, as long as it ain't a new one. You know what I'm saying? Like, they put them new ad reads in there on us. That's when it'd be like, oh, Lord.
Oh, yeah, we're not going live when we have new ad reads. We got to do it a couple of times first. But let's get into the next topic, bro. Ayo DOsunmu had this interview on Waddle and Silvy, and I talked about it over on Bull Central already, but I'm just going to say this. Everything that he said made me even more happy that he's a Chicago Bull.
Oh, yeah.
Period.
Oh, yeah.
So
I said this, right? And I don't know if y'all remember the few interviews we got back in the day from Derrick Rose. But listening to him, if you hadn't have told me it was Ayo DOsunmu, I was like, bro, this is Derrick Rose. It sounded like just how Derrick talked, his mannerisms, his mindset. And of course, it's just really a Chicago mindset. And then when Ayo, let's be real, what got us all excited is when he said, hey, man, it's just all about that Mamba mentality. All right. Okay, relax there, Ayo. Don't you get me excited like that. We in the game now. So I was listening to his interview, just impressed by his poise, impressed by him talking about how far he's come, impressed by how he talks about what he's watching tape-wise on his game and how far he even gave himself. I think the big thing in that interview is that he said he gave himself a B. And when they asked him, well, what would you have had to do to give yourself an A? He was honest with himself. Like, he's just like, play better in the second half of the season.
Bro, that was the thing that to me, like hearing him talk about the second half of the season, saying, he hesitated to say he hit a wall, but then the way that he explained that he hit a wall. But hearing about him talk about like how he was missing shots he usually hits, how he's part of his conditioning that he's done this summer is because he doesn't want to fall off in the second half of the season. He wants to be able to take that contact a little bit more. All great things to hear from him. Me hearing him say that he likes to write down how he felt about his game right after the game because he doesn't want to allow some time to go by and he convinces himself he did better than what he did. Yeah. Bananas, like that, huge. But I want to talk about this. Waddle and Silvy brought up, they said that they were going to start calling him the Trae Young stopper. And the response was so Chicago. Because his thing was, oh, that what you said? And they're like, well, how would you feel about that? He's like, I can't tell you what you can call me. Like, I loved it, bro. I loved it.
You want to call me, man. I can't tell you what to call me. Yeah. Silvy dropping that he was going to call him the Trae Young stopper. And Ayo literally was like, that's on you. Yeah. Hey, listen. And it's so Chicago because he didn't deny it.
Exactly.
He didn't deny it. He wasn't like, "Hey, relax, man. You know, Trae Young's a great player. We really love his game." He's like, hey,
"No, because he cooked Trae Young."
Here's something that I thought was extremely interesting. I don't know if Muggs peeped it, right? But they were talking about Ayo's physique, and of course, we've seen the photo going around of Ayo with the shirt off, and he looks much stronger now. And he said that he's been in the lab, he's been working, he's been putting on muscle, and he's up to about 204 pounds of muscle. Ayo was drafted at 194. He put on 10 pounds of muscle this offseason. Now, maybe not a full 10, right? I'm assuming he added some weight.
Of the season, yeah.
I'm assuming he added some weight during the course of the season, but at a minimum, what we saying? 4 to 5 pounds of muscle this offseason? And he was already incredibly strong.
And outside of just adding on the muscle, it also, like, he just got his – Ayo's probably at, like, what, 2% body fat? Like, he got to be, bro. Like, the dude, it's ridiculous. And like when you talk about a player that's already 6'5" with an almost 6'11" wingspan, to add some strength to that, like, I was going to be out here. People are going to try to body him up and be like, wait a second, did I just hit a wall? What happened?
Well, that's what happened a lot of times last season. That's why I say he was incredibly strong. When you saw point guards trying to drive through Ayo and kind of do that little let me get the rook off balance and go the other way, they would run into Ayo and be like, oh, okay, that I can't go that direction right now. So I think that just adding that muscle already with the defensive IQ, and you know, we talked about what kind of player Ayo was going to be coming into this season yesterday, and he understands, like, he's got to be a defensive minded kind of guy. He understands that, listen, I'm out here for the defense. I'm out here to go out there and get stops. That's my mentality every night. I loved when he said, they asked him, like, what was your coming to the NBA moment? And he was like, there wasn't really like a specific moment. Like, there was a player that just killed me. But the moment you realize it is when you got to go out there and stop one of the best players in the NBA. And then, okay, I stopped him. And then 2 nights later, you got to go out there and stop one of the best players in the NBA. And then, okay, I stopped him. And then you got a back-to-back. And all of a sudden, this dude's off of 2 nights rest. And you want a back-to-back.
Yeah.
And you got to go out there and do it again. It's like, oh, this is hard.
This is the NBA. and so let's talk about some of those performances from Ayo DOsunmu last season. So against Trae Young, Trae Young was 11 for 30 shooting with only 36%. He caused Trae Young to have 4 turnovers, and he blocked him 5 times.
Yep.
Darius Garland, 13 for 31, 41%, 1 for 7 from three-point, and forced Darius Garland into 9 turnovers. Jason Tatum, being guarded by Ayo DOsunmu, 5 for 16, 31% field goal percentage, forced 3 turnovers. Ayo DOsunmu not only causes players to shoot a worse percentage, but apparently they can't keep hold of the ball around Ayo DOsunmu either. Those are some of the premier ball handlers in the league, brother.
And you think about how they handle, right? Like, they handle really tight, really close to their body. They try to do a lot of stuff in compact area and then make a move to get past you. And Ayo DOsunmu takes away that compact area. He's in your space. That's where that wingspan comes in, right? He doesn't have to be body to body against you for him to be in your space. He can be at a distance away. But again, what did we say yesterday? 6'10", 6'11" wingspan on Ayo?
Almost 6'10" and a half wingspan.
He's able to invade your space without being in your space and without fouling you. That causes a lot of havoc for these guys, especially guys like Trae Young, which is why it's a really good matchup for him. Now, we saying all this, right? Trae probably just sitting there just like,
Oh, listen, Trae is coming. He has the game against the Bulls circled. He is going to try to go for 50 against the Chicago Bulls. Bro.
Hey, listen. Ayo, just please be prepared. Like there's some dudes that just got your number. I hope Ayo's that dude, because the rookie season was nice. Sophomore season, Trae gonna try to destroy that man. Like, his whole goal of the season ain't even to win a championship. It's to make sure Ayo DOsunmu knows that you're not my father.
Exactly. You know, one of the things that to me, that is going to be a measuring stick for Ayo. Well, I was thinking, like, okay, how are we really going to – what's some players that we're going to judge Ayo DOsunmu against? And when I honestly had to think about it, it's only – like, let me not say only one player, but you almost have to judge, as far as this draft class, Ayo against Cade Cunningham, who was the number 1 pick. Like, the fact that you think about that in that way, really, that's what you drafted a second-round player, and at this point going into the second season, now we'll see if the discrepancy becomes bigger over the course of their careers, but you're really just looking at him and judging him like, all right, how do you measure against your draft class? Oh, there's a number 1 pick who also plays your position that you did pretty damn good at.
Not a lot of point guards taken in that mug, though, right? I think that kind of plays into it as well, because
that absolutely does.
I think that was the big thing about it, right? Like, when me and you were going through the teams that Ayo could have been above, when you look at it, right, it's like it's not a lot of teams that needed point guards. Josh Giddey was taken ahead of him, I think.
Jalen Suggs, Josh Giddey, Cade Cunningham, Davion Mitchell, Trey Mann. There actually weren't a lot of point guards taken in that.
Yeah,
that is very interesting. I didn't think about that until just.
So I think, and for what I say, I think the only one I said I'd take him over was Josh Giddey. So for 4 out of 5 of those, right, like I think that I would take the other guy over Ayo. But then again, right, like those are the guys you have to compare him to coming into his draft class. And I mean, honestly, if Ayo, here's the thing, if Ayo has another season like he had this season, you're comparing outside of his draft class.
Yeah.
Now you're comparing him to, okay, how long is it going to take him to get the Drew Holiday level? How long is it going to take him to become a Rajon Rondo type defender? How long? Like now you're comparing him, because Ayo's defense wasn't just good among rookies this year. It was good among the entire NBA. Yeah. He was one of the best defenders in the entire NBA. First half of the season. So you got to throw that caveat out there.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be real. We got to be real in the way we analyze it, right? We got to be fair. Yeah. Second half of the season, he did get. There's a couple of games he got cooked.
Bro, who was it? Was it Drew? Who was going at him? And I was like, oh no, it was
Maxey too.
It was
Maxey.
Maxey was cooking everybody. Muzz was like, we ain't got Lonzo Ball. I was like, it didn't matter. Tyrese Maxey cooking. No, it was Karis LeVert when he was still on the Pacers. Remember, Karis dropped like 45 against us.
I have to go back. I'm not saying it didn't happen. It just doesn't.
The Pacers lost off of. That's the game Ayo dunked on Buddy for the clutch jam.
Oh yeah. Same game. Okay, cool.
We won. But
that's what matters. We got the win. All right, man. Let's go ahead. Get into the last topic for today. So late last night, bro. It wasn't too late.
Man, it wasn't.
It wasn't. We just have long days. That's it. Like we got long days. So by 6 p.m. it feels like it's late, and it's really not. Most people's days just getting started.
I've been up 2 hours.
But the Bulls preseason opener against the New Orleans Pelicans has been moved to TNT. They even changed the time. It will now air at 8:30 p.m. Central Time, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Bro, how do you feel about us getting a national TV look at the Chicago Bulls to start the preseason?
Man, don't give me that cop-out preseason game, bro. Get out of here, bro. Like,
hey, listen, the TNT Bulls are still in effect. We still 20. Bro,
they trying to make up for the fact they gave us 14 national TV games. They're like, here's another one. Nah, bro, this don't count.
We're undefeated at home on TNT since 2013.
We still ain't. This game don't count. Chuck ain't in regular season mode on this one. Chuck he's not watching the game. They're not watching the game. It's the preseason. Nobody's breaking this game down legitimately. No one's paying attention. I would be surprised if the real TNT crew is there. Like, we finna get Chris Webber, Isaiah Thomas, Candace Parker, and Dwayne Wade.
Candace is definitely going to be there. Like, let's just put that to bed. Candace is going to be there.
I am never mad at seeing more Candace Parker, brother.
Bro, like, she has a career in broadcasting afterwards, bro.
Thank God.
Yeah. Because she's awesome. But nonetheless, hey, bro, do you ever think that there's ever, like, would you ever like to see Candace Parker call a Bulls game?
I don't know what her play-by-play skills are. Maybe as an analyst, like as a color commentator, I feel like she would be good because she's actually a Bulls fan.
Yeah. Side note, we're here to talk about the preseason game, bro. How do you feel about the preseason game?
No. Let me tell you something. Exactly what we just did is how the breakdown of the preseason game is gonna go. Like, bro, no. Like, no, don't give me this cop-out national TV. We've got you guys covered. You get 15. This doesn't count.
Oh man,
I can care less about a national TV game on TNT.
That is hilarious, bro.
All you doing for me is saving me from having to go over to NBC Sports Chicago. It's not even called that no more. What is it now? NBC. No, that is it. NBC Sports Chicago. Right? They done been 14 different people. I done went back to Comcast Sportsnet out here. And where they preseason everything be choppy. Like it'd be like, hey man, like that's a White Sox graphic. We playing the basketball right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you saving me from, man. You know, I'm not buying into it.
I think Zion's returning to basketball. There's a lot of different storylines coming into this. If Lonzo Ball does play, it's against his old team. I think that I understand where you're coming from. I'm not saying you're wrong, but I do think that there's a chance we see a bigger production of it made than maybe what you're thinking. I think there's a chance. I only put the chance of it at like 45%, but I do think there's a chance of it.
That's a lot, bro. That's almost half.
Listen,
he said as long as it's under 50%. Nah, I mean, at the end of the day, right, there are some storylines attached to it. And here's the thing, right? The biggest question mark around it is, will we see Lonzo Ball? Will we see Zion Williamson, right? Are these teams going to chance these guys that have had injury issues long term? There's some things around this game that definitely pique your interest, but give it to us in the regular season. That's all I'm saying.
We got an interesting take here. This man said,
shout out to the comments, by the way. Shout out to
Maxey
everybody.
Is a dog. Kid reminds me of Kyrie Irving. He will be an all-star this year.
Maxey averaged 18 points a game. I don't know if I'd go Kyrie Irving far, because I think Kyrie Irving is the best ball handler we've ever seen in our lives.
Yeah.
But Tyrese Maxey is bound to take a step this year, depending on how much James Harden is willing to give him the ball.
That's very,
because I think James Harden is in. I'm finna get back to Houston James Harden mode, and there's finna be a lot of shots thrown up.
And we'll see how successful that is, because I see that lasting 5 games before they're like, hey, listen, Harden, we appreciate you taking less. We appreciate all that. But listen, you got to shoot the ball about 8 times less per game, brother. You can't keep doing it. But with that
that would be the opposite of what they had last year, though, because they was like, please shoot.
Yeah.
Please shoot. You took 14 shots. We have no one. We traded them all for you. You took 14 shots. We traded 4 people for you. You have to take 4 people's shots.
Oh, man, that is hilarious. Somebody in the comments asked if Maxey was a second-round pick. No, he was a first-round pick. He was picked 20th over. Don't quote me on that. I don't have it in front of me. I think he was picked 20th over.
20.
Yeah, I think he was a top 20 pick.
But Maxey's a dog. I rock with Maxey. Shout out to everybody in here, man. We got somebody in here from the UK. Who said they was from the UK?
No, from PR. We got Jose. Jose's always in the building. He says,
Jose, what's going on with you, my guy?
Shout out to you, Pat Designer, all the way from PR.
Puerto Rico in the building. Yeah, I mean.
Oh, we do. Fredro Stars in the building. He says, big shout out to both of you from the UK. First time I managed to catch you live. Elbow cough. Listen, I mean, we're not usually live during this time. Wait till the season. We'll be alive a lot more during the season. Steve-O, he called us up. He said it was 21st pick. I knew it was around that area. So
shout out to Steve-O, man.
Yeah, shout out to Steve-O. So before we go, since we got a little bit of extra time, brother, the Windy City Bulls have made a 3-team trade in which they get a first round. They get a first-round pick in the 2022 G League draft, and they also get a player. I forget his name at this point. Something Garrett. A point guard, though, but they also traded in that trade Devin Dotson. Yeah, another point guard. But they did send Devin Dotson away in that trade. Anything to make of that? What do you think about the official ending of Devin Dotson's career?
How did we send him away? He was playing with Washington.
So in the G League, you can trade a player's return rights, is what it's called. That's if they return to the G League, you have their rights. That's what they did in this case.
All right, I'll take your word for it.
It looks like we got Hassani Gravett, who actually played in the NBA last season for the Orlando Magic. He played 8 games for them last season, averaged almost 6 points per game in that. So,
I mean, it's good to see them making moves and taking advantage of what the G League is. I'm sad that Devon Dotson didn't work out. Another guy that's from here that you wanted to work out. I thought that he was going to be a much better player than he was, but I also think Devon Dotson just wasn't utilized. I think
we were
Dotson,
pretty deep at guard last season. So.
Yeah, I mean, he was. If I got my choice between the 6-foot even guard or the 6'4" guard, more times than not in the NBA, I'm going to go with the 6'4" guard unless you're really, really good. So I think Devon Dotson has a future in both leagues. I hope that he's able to find his way into the NBA on a consistent rotation. And I mean, listen, if you're going to do it on any team, Washington's a team for you to do it on because they don't know what they got going on. Yeah. So wait, who's Devon Dotson play for now?
He plays for Washington. We traded him his rights to Washington. to their
So
G
he
League
was
team.
already playing for him.
Bro, listen. Wait, did he play? He didn't play for them in G League. He played for them in Summer League. So maybe they wanted him, so they traded his rights. He still finished
but you got to give him a Summer League deal for him to play for you in Summer League.
Yeah, so technically in Summer League, players can play for whatever Summer League team they do. Now, it's complimentary that a G League team extends because they're in your G League system. You just bring them into your Summer League team, but that's not necessarily – it's a different set of rights. So, yeah.
That sounds crazy.
Just to go over Hassani Gravett, it's really complicated. He played in 8 games last year for Orlando. He actually started 3 games. He averaged 21.4 minutes in those games. He had a field goal percentage of 47% and a 3-point percentage of 42% as well. 2.6 rebounds, 2.5 assists, a little over a half is still a game, and 6.3 points per game.
Yeah.
As a 6'1", 187-pound point guard.
Sounds like Devon Dotson.
We traded light-skinned Devon Dotson for a light-skinned red-headed Devon Dotson is what we did.
So it's your brother.
You see the type of abuse I take here for this show? Y'all see this? That was abuse. That was a shot that was completely uncalled for.
You threw a picture from Power Up on the screen. You have no grounds to talk about anything in this.
Hey, it's funny because I'm finna put this picture of this dude up here. He definitely has red hair and freckles. So I gotta holler at my pops real quick. I gotta have a conversation.
Hey, Pops, was you in Orlando at any time during 2000 to 2003?
Oh man, that is hilarious. Hold on, let me put this picture up. Oh, that's a bad picture.
Ooh,
that's
wow.
just a bad picture. You can't. It looked better on the screen, bro.
It wasn't.
Yeah,
Hey,
that was
bro,
terrible.
he's albino, bro. I've never seen an albino make the NBA.
You know what? That's what would happen if me and Pat did the fusion dance. The fusion dance from DBZ. This is what you'd get.
Oh, 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 oh! Hey, hey! Hey, bro, hold up, wait a minute. He's definitely mixed. That's the best part of this.
And with our powers combined,
You gotta hold up. You gotta like put the power rings together. Yeah, hold up.
Bam.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Sweet Jesus.
Oh man.
You gotta wow. This man found the PNG cutout of him. Oh God.
Oh man, that is hilarious, bro.
Ha!
Oh man.
Let's get out of here, bro.
I can't find a better way to end the show, bro. Go ahead and take it.
Put the picture back up. Put the picture back. Put the picture back. Hey, I want you to know, dog, we're not laughing at you. We're laughing at the fact that it's perfectly positioned in between us. And literally, if you fused us together, that's what you would get. Like, that is wild.
Oh, man.
Hey, man, follow me on everything at Pat the Designer. Follow us both on everything at CEO Haize. At CEO Haize. At Locked On Bulls. Hey, let's get out of here.
Oh, man. You can follow me at CEO Haize. Thank you for making Locked On Bulls your first listen every day. Now for your second listen, go and check on Locked On NBA, where the Locked On experts break down all this latest news, rumors, and developments going on in the NBA in 30 minutes or less. They're available wherever you get your podcasts. For Pat the Designer, I'm Haize. This is Locked On Bulls. We out, y'all. Peace, man.
Jesus Christ. Oh,